your favorites out there. We do have that and begin our safari. We're starting out here in the Intermediate Forest. The Intermediate Forest is home to a lot of animals that camouflage to hide themselves. It's a way to protect themselves from predators. So they do like to hide out here in the forest. We want to keep an eye out. Looks like we'll see an okapi coming up on the right-hand side up on the hill there. The dark brown animal with the striped legs, kind of looks like a zebra's stripes. So they're not related to zebras at all. Okapis are actually close relatives of the giraffe. Okapis and giraffes are in the same family. And they have a very oily coat, which will help to repel water and keep them dry when it rains. They're also generally silent. They prefer to communicate by using scent markings. Like a lot of animals out here in the forest, okapis are also very shy and reclusive. And many of these animals are not seen often out in the wild. It looks like we will see a saddle-billed stork. Looks like two of them coming up here on the right-hand side. We see that big nest up in the bushes there. Saddle-billed storks are those black and white birds. They have that yellow part on their bill, which looks like a saddle, hence the name. Saddle-billed storks are solitary nesters. They nest alone. When they mate for life. They also have a 9-foot wingspan, which is going to be about the same length as that canopy above your heads. Saddle-billed storks also don't vocalize, so they'll communicate by rattling their bills. It looks like we'll find some bongos and greater kudu coming up on the right here. The bongos are those orange-colored antelope. The greater kudu are the light brown ones. Both of them have those white stripes on their backs, which they use for camouflage. That helps them to blend in with the vegetation out here in the forest. You can tell the kudu here are females. They don't have horns. Well, it's only going to be the male kudu that have horns. Both male and female bongos have horns that only use them to help navigate the thick vegetation. Now, looks like that is about it for the forest, so we are going to go ahead and move on out to the next area of the reserve. We're going to the Sabi River. The Sabi River is a little bit different kind of ecosystem. It's home to some more aquatic animals. These are animals that like to spend a lot of time in the water. We'll see what we can find out on the river today. Pelicans coming up on the right here. These gray birds with the long bills. They do have that light pink coloring on their backs, which is very light. It does get a little bit brighter during mating season. Pink-backed pelicans are colonial nesters, which means they'll nest in large colonies of up to 500. You'll also see some Nile hippopotamus in the water there. It looks like we'll see a few more coming up on the left-hand side here as well, hanging out in the water behind the line. These hippos do spend most of their time in the water. They can hold their breath for up to 8 minutes before having to come up for air. They will come onto the bank sometimes to graze. They're herbivores. They only eat plants. They don't really swim through the water. Instead of swimming, they'll kind of walk along underneath the surface, which is how they get their name, hippopotamus, which means living horse. They'll walk or run underneath the water in the river. Now, hippos can weigh up to 5,500 pounds. Now looks like we'll see some Nile crocodiles hanging out in this part of the river here. These crocodiles are ectothermics. They are cold-blooded. They are reptiles, one of the largest reptiles in the world. They'll warm themselves by sunning themselves on the rocks to help to regulate their body temperature. They have extremely powerful jaws with a bite force strong enough to crush the bones of their prey. They can be very gentle on them as well. Other crocodiles will lure eggs around inside their mouth. Even after they're hatched, the babies will sometimes jump into their parents' mouths for protection. We are leaving the Sabi River and heading on out to the savannah. warmer, so there's not as much vegetation and not as many water sources. A lot of animals out on the savanna are migratory. They'll migrate, travel long distances at certain times of the year in order to follow fresh food and water.
There's a squirrel.
Good spot.
As we head on down to the savanna, our surroundings are also going to change a little bit. It's a lot more open out on the savanna. Not as much vegetation, so there's not as many places to hide. A lot of animals out on the savanna rely more on their speed and agility as their main defense against predators. Not as much on camouflage like we saw with the animals in the forest earlier. You'll see the baobab tree coming up here on the right. It's this big kind of funny looking tree here. Kind of looks like it's upside down with its roots sticking up in the air. It's also called the upside down tree. The baobab tree can store water inside of its trunk. So some animals can rip the bark off and drink the water inside. Which is why they also call it the tree of life. It can be a very valuable water source for animals out here on the savanna where water is more scarce.
I wasn't paying attention.
Poor Aaron.
Take the picture now, he looking. It looks like we'll find some Perkins Mountain zebras. Coming up on the right hand side here.
Where I was in there.
Zebras do have a unique stripe pattern, so no two are exactly the same, like a fingerprint. Baby zebra will imprint on its mother's stripe pattern so that it can always recognize her in her herd. So you can tell these are Hartman's Mountain zebras because they have what's called a dewlap, which is that little flap of skin under their neck. They're the only species of zebra to have a dewlap. When a zebra is first born, its legs are going to be almost the same length as they'll be as an adult. You're going to have to grow into those legs a little bit. That allows that baby to learn how to stand and walk right away. The first hour, it's like, wow. So it can protect itself right away against predators. You'll also see one of the Angoli cattle over here on the right. These cows with the really big horns. They are one of the only domesticated animals out here on the reserve. Also called the Watusi cattle after Watu first domesticated them. You might find a few more up ahead here as well. And those big horns look really heavy, but they're actually pretty light. They're made of a honeycomb-like structure on the inside. They're actually mostly hollow. They'll have to circulate blood through their bodies and keep them cool. They have their own built-in cooling system. A couple different kinds of antelopes. Also over on the left, you'll see those sable antelope, the dark brown ones with the long curved horns. Sable antelope use their horns as protection against predators trying to jump on their backs. They're one of the few animals that will actually stand their ground and fight off predators. You'll also see some elands on the left, those large tan-colored antelope with the spiral horns. They're one of the